All right. Good evening. I'm going to call the Hermiston City Council and Urban Renewal Agency meeting to order with a declaration of a quorum. All members present. Please join me in the flag salute.
Where's it at? There it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome this evening. Lily, I have on my agenda that you're going to do like a little walkthrough on this new agenda program. Is that correct?
Is.
All right. It's a whole new website?
Not a whole new website, just a new agenda management system that we're using. Prior, we were using Novus Granicus, and we've had a lot of issues with being able to do what we need to, not only on the staff part, but also on the public side. I've had been receiving phone calls that the agenda wasn't viewing, and that was just because of all the difficulties that Novus was having. So a couple of years ago when we updated the website, we saw that Unicode, which is our website provider, also provides agenda management solutions. And at that time, Heather and I, with the blessing of City Manager, looked at their agenda management solutions, and we were quite impressed. The ease of use for staff was just beyond what had been prior. And we just really liked the display, and it was less expensive than what we were using with Novus. And on top of that, we also have video features that would have costed, that's free to use with Unicode, but if we would have gone with Novus, it would have been double what we were currently paying. So there's a few ways to get to the agenda. I'm going to go over just probably the quickest ones that most people use. That's going to the calendar and then picking the date of the meeting, which today is the 13th. And you can see that the agenda is displayed in as well as the agenda packet. So this agenda is a PDF, and then there's the HTML, as well as the packet, which is the PDF and HTML. So right now we're just going to go through the PDF, which I've already pulled up here. You can see that the agenda, and this is going to be the same for everybody, not just staff. I'm not logged in as staff. I'm logged in just as anybody else, a member of the public. Each item that has attachments to it are highlighted and underlined in blue. So if you click on it, it'll take you to that agenda topic, and then you can, once you're done reviewing it, then you can go scroll up or down. We have this tab section here. Arrow will take you to the agenda item that's displayed. And also, if you click on the arrow, it also tells you exactly. And you can do the same. Click on the attachment, and it takes you to that one, and then you can go at the top and scroll up, or not scroll up, it'll take you immediately to the top of the agenda, so you can review the agenda, as well as the bottom if you want to do the bottom, and again, every section with all of the attachments. If you prefer to look at the HTML, you can do that. I've already pulled it up here. The HTML is very similar to the PDF as far as each attachment is highlighted with links. So again, it'll take you right to the agenda item that you've chosen. And then of course, if you want to go back, you can either go to the side column and it shows you the other attachments that's related to that agenda item, or you can go back and to your tab and then review the complete agenda packet. Right now, we still have access to, because this just came online, if you go to all of the agendas. This is another way to get to all the agendas and minutes. Because we just started on the 13th, you'll see that there's only agenda and the agenda packet for the 13th. All of the other meetings, the agendas, packets, the minutes from prior are still available to the public by this link, and then you'll see that it's this same, all of the meetings are on there. So prior, like you just saw with the PDF and the HTML, there was links to all of the attachments, there was links to basically any agenda item that had supporting documents to it. With Novus, there was no such links. So if you pull up, or there was a link here, I'm lying now, and you can pull that up. And sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. Okay, so here you can see that if there was other attachments, you would be able to see it here. And go up to the agenda, which wasn't as easy to do. So that's not very user-friendly. And then as far as with the PDF, when you pulled up the PDF for the same document, there wasn't any of the attachments for this. You could, if there was, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. So there are tabs that would take you to the attachments, but again, it just wasn't as user-friendly. It's not as user-friendly as the current version that we're using. Another thing is for videos. As you know, we are live streaming all of our agendas or the meetings for the City Council, and we would have to go to a different part of the website to look at those videos. So you'd have to come here and you pick what video you want and then play from here. So with the new agenda management system, we uploaded, as a test, last meetings, and this is what it's going to look like when the video has been uploaded. So this is the meeting from the May 23rd. You'll see that the City Council video is already on the page, and there are timestamps from each agenda item. So every time that you guys move on to another agenda item, then the links, whoever's viewing can go right onto those links, and it'll upload exactly when you guys started talking about that, so people don't have to scroll, or if they're not interested in listening to the entire meeting, they're not having to wait or go back and forth. So that's really user-friendly as well, and that's not something that we had prior. Again, the agenda is uploaded, the HTML version, right next to it. So not only do people get to see the agenda on this side, but also on this time and view the documents that we're supporting each agenda item. If you go to the details right next to it, then you'll see that it's again the same as it was prior, the agenda in HTML, PDF, as well as the packet, the video again, and the minutes, which is in this case is the draft minutes because you guys haven't approved those yet. Yeah, so we hope that the public will see that this is a lot more user-friendly, and with all of the information just on one page instead of having to flip through many pages to get to what they want to see. Do you guys have any questions?
Very good, Lily. Thank you very much. Questions so far, council? How are you finding it?
Works for me.
It's okay so far? I like the video, being able to bounce around in the video, and people, if they want to watch the actual live city council meeting, that's excellent. More transparency, the better, and people can participate in whatever format they would like to, either during or at or after. So Excellent. No questions? Yeah, and saving us money. So very good, Lily. Thank you. All right, Ms. Smith, we don't have any other changes on the agenda this evening. Okay, our first item tonight is a presentation by the Hermston School District. Mr. Bacon, welcome. Getting close to anything special?
Exciting week as we wrap up school year with students. Their last day of school is tomorrow. Teachers will be the following day. So lots of end-of-the-year celebrations that are taking place, and personal celebrations are taking place. Graduation took place last week and was wonderful. Able to get it done in an hour and 22 minutes. So beat the last record of in-person graduation. So Mr. Spoo's still working hard to hit that hour and 15-minute mark. We'll see if he can get it done. Oh man, getting there was rough.
Construction?
Traffic. Yeah, well, and the road construction hit the same time, and so it's hard to say if it was, well, I mean, it all played a part in it, but
Estimation of attendance?
Tom and I were guessing at anywhere between 3,500 and right around that range. He suggested maybe 4,000. It was tough to see. We're trying to count individual, but that took way too long. But just guessing that holds a little over 6,000 people, and it was pretty full, and even the ends were starting to fill up. So it was a good turnout.
It'd be tough to do here in Hermiston, wouldn't it?
It would be very difficult.
Yeah.
And the hard part is you begin to limit entry, and
Right.
if this way, anybody and everybody
All
can
family members
attend.
can participate. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, and there's nice room outside for pictures when the graduates exit. There's plenty of grass area where they can get out and mingle and visit for a little bit, and then buses load them up and head to the senior graduation party. So we're fortunate to have it. But as we end up the year, we are also building some buildings, working to get into that still. And so we are on track for our to be able to take the substantial completion for June. For Rocky is still on target, and Loma in July. So we're still working towards those. The board tonight is actually taking action on their intent to bid for the high school project, which is going to add 13 classrooms to the high school. So they'll begin working on that after that. And what the plan for that portion of the bond is going to be, we'll have 2 labs that are set up for computer-aided design classes, and then another one right off the greenhouse for the ag room over there, and then the rest of them will be gen ed classes. So 10 gen ed classrooms to be able to use, and then the other 3 there. So we're excited to get that started and going. Highland Hills is also in the planning stages to do some of the safety upgrades for Highland Hills out of the bond project, and they begin meeting, and they have some drawings. They meet here, I think, next week to see if they can finalize some of the drawings on it. So, and then hiring. We're still working at that. So if you know anybody, please encourage them, reach out. We've got 16 licensed positions open right now and 23 classified positions, which classified, our big post is right about this timeline. So we'll get those filled up. Those are custodial positions, classroom assistants, and across the board. We have some office secretaries as well. So we'll be working to get those filled here in the next several weeks and have a real relaxing summer.
Good. So did I understand you're going to delay elementary start date by a couple weeks?
1 week.
One week, okay.
Yeah. So, and I don't have the dates right off the top of my head. So elementary students will start on, I think it's September 6th, which is right after Labor Day. And they're going to use that time to really be able to do open houses a little bit differently, because we have so many students with boundary changes that will be attending different schools, not to mention Rocky and Loma being brand new, nobody being inside of them before. So that'll look a little bit different, and we'll have the first 2 weeks of in-service for elementary to focus on it, where high school and the middle schools will have had 1 week of school in.
Oh, very good. Any questions for Mr. Bacon? How many graduates this year?
Oh, I think.
You should be ready.
Well,
for these.
I didn't confirm with Tom. I believe there was 380, right around 387, but I think he actually said in his speech 337, and so I haven't confirmed with him exactly on which one. It really is. But we had a pretty good number. It was a strong number.
Very good. Very good. Yeah.
Like, you mentioned safety upgrades to Highland Hills. Can you tell us, or do you have any concept of about what those are going to look like yet? I mean, it's a wide open school. Anybody can essentially just walk onto that campus.
It is. What they're discussing right now is changing the entrance for drop-off and pickup, so how the path off of, was it 10th Street right there, will change to allow larger distance. They're also looking to, in the front of that school, to be able to enclose that, so there's only one area to enter into the school. And changing the playground setup and moving the playground to where it's in the back so that it's not out on the side are part of the things that are being discussed right now. They don't have anything for certain on it, but the big part that I know will happen is they're going to change the route of which traffic comes into Highland Hills, and they're also going to look at changing that front vestibule area and hopefully enclosing in that courtyard area, so that'll be the main entrance.
Yeah, I think I saw. Go ahead.
Yep, and they're looking at changing how that access is set up. And I haven't seen the drawings on what they're doing with it, just in conversation about what's being talked about.
I think Nancy, you had your hand up too.
Yeah, not pertaining to that specific topic, but in regards to graduates, do you have any students that are still trying to do any sort of credit recovery from the time that students were still trying to homeschool?
I can't confirm that. I haven't had a conversation about it.
I know you're putting on a similar summer school program like you did last year, so you're going to open that up again and a lot larger participation than usual.
We actually, elementary is about 600. We, I think, reached 600 students have said that their families are interested in sending their kids, which is pretty close to what it was last year. What's interesting is our secondary is lower this year than it was, which does make sense because we have all of the sporting events and different activities, summer programs that are taking place, and so secondary kids are more involved in those. Where coming out of COVID, everyone's just excited to get back and be around people again. So our secondary numbers are lower, and they're going to run, secondary is going to run two-week sessions, and in conjunction with Champions, we'll begin, I think students will show up on summer program on the 22nd of June, and we're going to run it. They'll have some type of either program through us or ability to use Champions all through the summer.
And you're also doing the summer lunch program as far as feeding kids. So any kid that needs a meal, wants a meal, they'll be able to access that for breakfast and lunch. Is that
correct?
Right?
Yeah, and we haven't identified the sites yet, but most likely West Park in Sunset, and then one of the middle schools, most likely Armand. And the high school.
Excellent programs, keeping kids engaged and involved in activities and keeping them fed. Sometimes that's maybe the only source of nutrition that they get during the day, and so we appreciate that.
It's good. We also, I'll brag just a little bit on the city too, being able, the partnership that is with the school district and the city to be able to provide opportunities for swim, and then also having students help with different programs that the city is able to facilitate and the school district is facilitating during the summer months, which is pretty neat. So we have a lot of opportunities for kids this year because of that partnership.
And we did some swimming lessons, free swimming lessons for second graders. Is that right, this year?
Yes.
Yes. So another excellent program that the city and school district partner in to introduce kids to water. You know, we have some major rivers around us, and we'd hate to see any drowning deaths, so encouraging kids to participate in learning how to swim and how to be safe when they're out there. So it's a great partnership.
And Philip, when I see the drawings, I will come back with more detailed information on what that'll look like. I'm curious too, because I haven't been able to let go all the way.
Any other questions from council?
I was
Youth
going to
advisors?
ask one more thing.
Yeah.
I heard that the Champions program will be offering free childcare over the summer.
Yeah, I believe so, and their website has the information on it. I haven't reviewed it here in the last month, so. But they have it. At one point they were planning on having that information on how to access it on the website.
Youth advisors, you got any questions? No? Rest of the council, good? All right, well, thank you, Mr. Bacon. Teachers, classified, you know, I said this at a groundbreaking the other day, Hermiston's hiring. So let's bring some people into town. Every business I talk to is hiring. So
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Bacon, for
Have a
coming.
good evening.
All right, we're now at our first opportunity for citizen input. If there are people in the audience who would like to participate, please come up to the microphone, introduce yourself by name and address, limit your comments to less than 5 minutes, and direct your comments to me. Welcome.
Make it shorter than 5 minutes. I'm Virginia Brome Garcia, 435 East Sunset Drive, Hermiston, Oregon. And actually, I'm just here to invite the community and the members of the council for the Juneteenth celebration, which will take place on June 18th from 4 to 8 at McKenzie Park. There will be several activities, barbecue, music. We'll also have a bouncy castle, which we didn't have that last year. This is new for all of us. And there will be other agencies. I believe that we're having 7 or 8, at least 7 agencies present that are going to be there. Domestic violence, I think the CASA program, and several others. But anyways, we'll have several other individuals there, agencies there. And we're just here to invite the council and the community to join us on this very special day.
So that's June 18th, McKenzie Park, at what time?
At McKenzie Park, it'll be from 4 to 8.
4 to 8.
Yeah, we'll be having hot dogs, hamburgers, you know, just
And free food.
simple food, baked beans.
That'll be a draw.
Pardon?
That free food's always a draw.
Oh, yes, free food is always good. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. So June 18th, 4 to 8, McKenzie Park, Juneteenth celebration. All right, any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to our agenda. We have consent items A through I. Any of those need to be removed? Any public comment on consent agenda items A through I? All right, seeing none, can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A through I?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All right, I think Philip beat you to the second before I even asked. I heard Mr. Primer first. Councilor Primer was the first to motion, and we'll give Mr. Spicer-Coon the second. Any questions from the council? No. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. All right. Mr. Smith, we have a unique set of resolutions this evening. I think we're going to need action on all of them. Is that right? Okay. So we have a public hearing, though, first. Okay. So, all right. Any declarations of conflict by the council? Okay. I'm going to have the hearing guidelines presented by the city staff.
The City Council is holding a public hearing for the FY 22-23 budget. The City Council will take public testimony on this issue and make a decision at this meeting. The hearing process will begin with a staff report by City Manager Smith. Following the presentation of the staff report, the City Council will take public testimony. The Council requests that all people wishing to testify give their name and mailing address before testifying. People wishing to testify should limit testimony to not more than 5 minutes unless a longer period is provided by the City Council. Written testimony will also be accepted. After everyone wishing to testify has had an opportunity to speak, the City Council will close the public hearing and enter deliberations. Once the public hearing is closed, no further testimony will be received. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. The hearing is now open. City staff will now present its report.
Yes, so this year's, and that's about, it's $3.2 million less than our last fiscal year, and most of that decrease is due to the number of projects that we completed in the last budget, in this budget year that we're completing. The general fund budget is $16,700,000, and that's approximately 2% above the current fiscal year's budget. In the general fund in particular, there are 2 new positions proposed in the police department, and they'll be used to fill in gaps on the 2 teams, or the 4 teams that resolution does at that point. If you want, or I can go over it now, however.
Okay. Does council have any questions at this point? Nope. Okay. So we're going to take public testimony as well. So people wishing to speak are asked to state their name and mailing address, limit the testimony to less than 5 minutes. Are there any persons that would like to speak about our 2022-2023 fiscal budget? Come on up.
Jackie Lynn, Hermiston.
We are anticipating yet that we will be
Lost you.
with the same.
Yeah. So, did you get that answer, Jackie? Don't anticipate the cost to go down a lot, but we'll be able to do more potentially with what we're spending up there. Okay. Any other public comment? Okay. So we're going to now close the hearing. Is there any further council discussion? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move on to resolutions and ordinances. I guess it's just resolutions tonight, isn't it? So, Mr. Smith, would you like to explain what we're doing tonight with all these resolutions?
Sure. Other items, and then 22-25 establishes the pay plan for all of the city employees. I wanted to load it into the pack.
So it's been moved by Ms. Davis, seconded by Councilor Primer, that we adopt Resolution 2222 declaring the City of Hermiston's election to receive state revenue and lay it upon the record. Roll call?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Now we're going to talk about 2223, which is the adopting the City of Hermiston's budget. Mr. Smith, this doesn't increase the taxation on the residents. Is that accurate?
That's correct. We are at the maximum that we're allowed to levy as far as a property tax, and it does not increase.
And that hasn't changed?
That hasn't changed probably 30 years now.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And that's $6.09.
Yeah, 6.08, and then a lot of decimals after
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Any other questions by the council on the budget? No? Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2223?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Mr. On, seconded by Mr. Harden, that we adopt Resolution 2223, adopting the City of Hermiston's budget, making appropriations, imposing and categorizing taxes for fiscal year 2022, 2023, and lay it upon the record. Roll call.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Motion, can I get a 2224 is establishing a reserve funds for the city of Hermiston for fiscal year 2022, 2023.
Yeah, this is just, we have to name all of the reserve fund that we utilize, and so this, we adopt this list each year as part of the budget process.
Gotcha, and it's just a list, literally a list.
Literally, Exhibit A is just a bunch of, and you can recognize some of the projects that we have worked on and that we are working on in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
On one of those, I think it's within this one, it was police equipment. What is?
So when we made the change to leasing our police vehicles, we lease them as basically a vehicle like anybody else would buy. But to make it a police vehicle, we have some costs, about $25,000 to get lights and all the other things, and radios and everything installed. And so what we're doing is trying to allocate money every year, even though we may not add a vehicle every year. We're putting some money away so that when we do have those vehicles, we can upfit them.
There's two categories there. One says HPD vehicle upfitting, and one says HPD equipment.
Okay, the equipment is also for, again, this is, we're phasing out another fund, trying to eliminate and make the budget a little more simple. So things like ammunition and other, just police equipment. Jason, help me out. What other things are we buying out of there? Tasers. Yeah, yes. That's one that is a big one-time fee when we upgrade to new tasers. So I'd forgotten that. Thank you. So that's the one we're saving up for.
Sorry, I didn't mean to open
Yep.
the can of worms.
No, sorry. I should have remembered that.
That's all right.
All right. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2224, establishing reserve funds for the city of Hermiston for fiscal year 2022, 2023, and laying it upon a record?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Primer, seconded by Councilor Spicer-Kuhn. Can I get a roll call?
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. And then Resolution 2225 is the compensation plan. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Okay. You want to give an update on?
Well, I just thought it's kind of in two pieces. So you have the different range classification numbers and what they get paid, and then the next part of that is the actual positions that go in each of those classification numbers. So that's how you would kind of match that up. If you were looking for a library assistant, they're in range number 32. You can look in 32 and see what that classification is paid.
And on average, we are giving our staff members.
Yeah, we have a 2% cost of living adjustment factored into this compensation plan.
Thank you. Any other questions about Resolution 2225? Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 2225, adopting the compensation plan for the City of Hermiston employees for fiscal year 2022-23, 2022-2023, effective July 1st, 2022, and laying it upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Davis, seconded by Councilor Duran. Can I get a roll call?
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. You know, it's one of the biggest responsibilities we have as a city council is participating in the budget and adopting a budget, because that's how nations around the budget already. And so a lot of the questions that we may have had were probably already asked and answered in other conversations. So it's a matter of process tonight as far as approving it, but the council is already participating in a larger conversation prior to this. So we're on to city committee reports. Any committee reports? Nobody? Yotech. Yes, Mr. Burrow?
So I have two to report on. Went to the Umatilla River Trails meeting and also the EOTech owners, entities as well, like the railroad, and making this all work is going to take a while. The good thing is we are in phase one. There is engineering designs. Engineering designs, and it looks like they've put together estimates, so that way it's a lot easier to go out for grants and proposals. To be able to go out for grants, and so at this point they have the phase one, which is from Umatilla all the way up to right around where our wastewater or recycled water treatment plant is. Thank you, Mayor. Aside from that, the trails, the Umatilla Trail Committee has been working more aggressively now to go out for funds. Really the establishment of kind of basically a path of where we wanted to go and talking with some ownerships and getting things underway has already started to happen. Now it's just the money that needs to come. And so just for an example, this first part, phase one, that goes all the way down to the recycled water plant will be around $4.8 million to pave that. But when we start, adjusting for contingencies and engineering designs and permits, and also factoring in for inflation and other things and other factors that we're not really sure of, it pushes the project closer to $7 million. So at this point, the committee is working really hard to try and go out for grants and try to get this piece by piece. One of the things I wanted to bring up to council is when it kind of goes to Hermiston, and when it comes to Hermiston, I think it will be a few years down the line, but there's various pathways in which it could go through Hermiston. Potentially one of the pathways that was discussed was going down from Riverfront Park all the way down and towards where we're planning, or at least towards where we're planning to build the 1,300 homes. So going down 207 and then merging and then finally making its way down to Stanfield that way. So there are various paths. I will bring at least a concept map to council so that way they can view it, and also to city manager, so that way at least we kind of know where we're going to be involved and when that's going to happen. As far as for the EOTech meeting, we talked about project updates. I know Mayor and City Manager will probably have a couple more updates for council when it gets to that time. But we talked again about the RV park, the field development, and the barn expansion. At this point, I think City Manager already submitted a proposal for the barn expansion. And so I think that's where the first part of the grants that are going to go out to fairgrounds, right? Fairgrounds. So city manager's already put in that proposal. Other than that, we've been talking about events coming up. We officially talked about Venue Works, and I guess where we're going to be moving forward. And just a lot of exciting things moving forward with that committee as well. It seems both committees that I was at, they're starting to get more traction, and I know COVID really hit a lot with just people being able to move forward. So those are the two updates I have for those two committees.
Thank you, Mr. Barone. I think that concept, the Riverfront Trail project, obviously if money fell from the sky, we'd develop it today, but it doesn't. And I think, the intent was to slowly kind of put that together over time as money became allocated, and it was always viewed kind of as a 10, 15, 20-year project, and we've got to kind of continue to look at it that way and just kind of piecemeal it together as resources become available. Has the city allocated funds towards that trail project beyond what we already have internally?
On that at this point yet.
So I guess probably once they get some sort of map kind of cemented, position into our mental health provider here for Umatilla County. We're having great conversations, sitting down as organizations, talk about how we can make our community healthier and safer, and how we can partner together on that. And so those things are moving forward. It's nice to have a willing partner that's willing to sit down and listen to us and participate with us in trying to find some solutions for mental health in our community. A lot of us attended the Morehouse grand opening. That was fun. They did a good job. That's 60 housing units, affordable housing units being developed here in town. Tyler Chrisman is one of the lead developers in that program, the Chrisman Group out of Enterprise. We also had another conversation about doing some other developments here in town, and that's looking like it potentially could bear some fruit too. So good things happening on the housing market. Hopefully, you know, what's happening with the interest rates doesn't slow things down too badly because we need all the additional housing we can get. I just want to remind people this week is also the Eastern Oregon Economic Summit being held at the high school on Thursday and Friday. If you haven't already signed up, you might talk to Lily about getting on that. There's, I don't know, 6 or 7 tours on Thursday. And then on Friday, I think it's mostly like lecture type. Council report. Anything else from the council? No? Youth advisors. Yes, no?
Well, I just wanted to, if you could say, can you repeat who was holding what at the high school on Thursday and Friday?
So, Eastern Oregon Economic Summit. It's sponsorship. Daniel, am I sponsored by Eastern Oregon Women's Coalition? Yeah, and it's. You want to explain it? Yeah.
All right. So yeah, tours on Thursday, going out to housing, workforce, timber, and water projects. And then on Friday, it's kind of all at the high school. There's some legislators, about 10 legislators are going to come out and talk. Economists, as well as the gubernatorial candidates will be there to kind of talk about what's coming up next.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon, there's some breakout sessions.
Yeah. So it's a conversation by community and regional leaders. I think it's open for anybody's attendance that wants to go to hear about the status of things in Eastern Oregon. It's kind of our opportunity to talk amongst ourselves. We have a different economic climate sometimes than the West Side. West Side does a business summit every December, and so this is kind of like that, where they talk about issues that are relevant to the whole state. This one's specific for Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Other questions or other comments from the youth advisors? Yeah, Julissa?
I hope this works. I really hope that this stays on. So, pools are opening this weekend, which is good because it's starting to get really hot and windy and cold and rainy.
Right.
So hopefully we'll get some more consistent weather soon. Yeah, pools are opening this weekend instead of last weekend, sadly, but they are opening this weekend, which, fingers crossed, it's going to turn out really well this coming week. And I'm excited to see people posting pictures about it online. That's all I have to say.
Julissa, are you a lifeguard or something at the pool?
Oh, yeah, I'm working as a lifeguard for the second year.
Perfect. Ah, so that's why you're so excited about the pool. Right on. Elizabeth, anything?
Oh, this last week, the youth advisors from all the committees had a meeting. Mr. Smith and our teacher, Mr. Davis, were there facilitating it. We all got to talk about our experiences on our committees thus far. It was very interesting to hear all the news about the other committees. And we got to talk about our plans for next year. And as of now, we're wanting to team up with ASB and a couple of sports in the fall to do some volunteer things around the community, like picking up garbage. So if you guys have any ideas on things we can do, let us know because we're interested.
Right on. I'm sure Brandon's got a laundry list of things that he would love to have some help with. So thank you for your willingness to volunteer and, you know, make your city a better place. I think that's what civic education is all about. It's trying to make your community a better place. So will you guys be transitioning off as youth advisors? How long is your term? Do you know?
So there will be new youth advisors next year, but as long as we're being active in our roles, we will probably stay on.
Okay.
Right?
Is that including through the summer?
Yes.
Okay. Good for you. All right. Ms. Smith, manager's report.
Yeah, just a few items. One, just want to let the council know we're continuing to work towards our IT department establishment. Next meeting, we'll bring our new IT director to meet the council, and then we have some of our intergovernmental agreements with some of the other entities. We've been having job interviews with for a couple of the other positions that we're going to be hiring. So, and on your first meeting in July, we'll be having a budget amendment that will add that department to the city budget. So those things are really, there's a lot of moving parts going on right now, but it's going in a good direction, and I'm happy with how that's going. The other item I wanted to just let the council know, I'll be Thursday and Friday, I'll be at a LOC board meeting or traveling there, and then the meeting on Friday. So it's in Central Point, so go see the Medford area for the first time. So, and that's all that I have right now.
Right, so we are going to recess the city council meeting and convene the Urban Renewal Agency meeting with a call to order. And our first action, we don't have to do a roll call for Urban Renewal Agency. Okay. We have a public hearing for HURA, the Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency 2022-2023 fiscal budget. Are there any declarations of conflict of interest from the HURA members? Seeing none, Mr. Smith, can you go over the hearing guidelines?
The HURA is holding a public hearing for the fiscal year 22-23 budget. The HURA will take public testimony on this issue and make a decision at this meeting. The hearing process will begin with a staff report by Planning Director Clint Spencer. Following the presentation of the staff report, the HURA will take public testimony. The HURA requests that all people wishing to testify give their name and mailing address. People wishing to testify should limit testimony to not more than 5 minutes unless a longer period is provided for. Written testimony will also be accepted. After everyone wishing to testify has had an opportunity to speak, the HURA will close the public hearing and enter deliberations. Once the public hearing is closed, no further testimony will be received. Mr. Mayor.
We're going to open the hearing. City staff will now present its report.
Let's see if this thing's working. Yep, it is.
Yep.
So for this year, our budget is going to be $645,000 for HURA. We have $400,000 allocated for the Southeast 2nd Street realignment project, and then $50,000 for facade grants, and the remainder will go into debt service and cash forward for future projects. The estimated revenue that we're getting this year is $270,000 off of our tax base of $15 million.
All right. We'll now open it up for public testimony. Anybody wishing to speak or asked to come up to the microphone, introduce themselves by name and address, limit your testimony to less than 5 minutes, and direct your comments to me. Anyone? Jackie? All right, we are now going to close the hearing. How about questions from the council or from the HURA members? No. The only question I had, Clint, was the contingency number. So we are making more revenue than we projected, right?
Yes.
And so there's a larger number that's going into contingency. What does that contingency look like?
I'm actually going to ask for a little bit of assistance from Mr. K on that one, because the contingency gets calculated over and over again right up until we come to the hearing.
Yeah.
contingency is where we balance the budget for HURA.
Yep.
We have what plans we use the money for, how much are we getting, if there's any left over, we put in contingency so that it's available for uses not anticipated at this time.
Do you have a number?
I don't have it right in front of me right
Okay.
now. I thought it was here.
Okay.
We have it in the consolidated, it's only
It's
54,000.
53, almost 54,000.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. So a little less than 10% of our budget. All right, any other questions by the HURA members? Okay. We're going to move on to Resolution 16 to adopt the fiscal year 2022-2023 budget for the Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency. Mr. Smith?
Yes, so you just heard the explanation of the resolution. And so we would request adoption of that resolution.
Any public comment on Resolution 16? Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt Resolution 16 and lay it upon the record?
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Primer, seconded by Councilor Davis, that we adopt Resolution 16 for fiscal year 2022-2023 budget for the Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Any unscheduled HURA communications?
No.
Seeing none, we are going to adjourn the Hermiston Urban Renewal Agency. And we do have we're going to reconvene the Hermiston City Council meeting. And we are going to recess for executive session. The City Council of the City of Hermiston will now meet in executive session in the Rotary Altrusa Room for the purpose of discussing matters pertaining to negotiating real property transactions. The executive session is held pursuant to ORS 192.6602E, which allows the council to meet in executive session to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the council to negotiate real property transactions. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are excluded. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed to not report on any of the deliberations during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No final decisions may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, the council will return to open session which the audience may attend. The executive session will last approximately 15 minutes. All right, we are going to reconvene the Hermiston City Council meeting. Anything else, Mr. Smith? Council, for the good of the order? We are adjourned.